All right. Welcome, Auvoria subscribers. Everybody in the like, Steve Vetterl here on the mic, Saturday morning, at least it is in the Pacific time zone here in sunny San Diego. I want to make sure everybody can hear me okay and see the screen. It's the risk disclosure screen, our favorite. We love reading it aloud. So you guys hear me okay? I've got all the mic turned up here and everything's been slightly adjusted from who we are. Let's go through the risk disclosure. So trading the foreign, actually, let me check one other thing here. Okay, there we go. Trading the foreign exchange market carries high risk and may not be suitable for all investors. Trading on margin and utilizing leverage can carry an even higher level of risk that can lead to a complete loss of investment funds. So before deciding to trade the foreign exchange markets or any of our software alerts, you should carefully and diligently consider your personal investment objectives, level of experience, and risk tolerance. There's a possibility you could potentially lose your entire account. But we have developed software, hopefully, with fantastic guidance and much longer track records. That will not happen. If you're sharing any of the results of our softwares, this is anything really, which is really only allowed in the Facebook groups, please do not use the term company recommended settings. AP does not have any recommended settings. They're not a financial advisory firm. They have nothing to do with your brokerage account. They can't see into it. They can't trade it. The software from the developers just comes out of the box upon initial setup. It has its own default settings. We have nothing to do with anything related to, as a group, any recommended settings. So any settings I'm sharing, me, our company recommended settings, the call is for educational purposes only. So there's me and me trading operations, which are actually going to be changing. I'm going to be getting some really large screens that are big time curve screens. So we switch over to the Forex calendar. I know that all the developers are trading this week. Let's make sure we get that shared. Now, I get some questions on this occasionally, but when we're going through the Forex, best thing to do, so just follow along, guys. You move to tomorrow starting, November 22nd to the 28th, essentially coming up. So for those of you overseas, just know that Wednesday and Thursday, so the 25th and 26th, is Thanksgiving. Friday, the 27th, is like a big shopping day. They call it Black Friday, but a lot of stores have different kinds of hours with this whole pandemic thing going on. So they have, but I always tell everybody stay away from the stores on Black Friday. Most of the stuff they're selling is junk. But in any case, I think volumes are going to be much lower in all kinds of instruments traded globally. It's not saying not pay attention, but just it's basically a holiday week. A lot of kids from off school, a lot of families are taking off, including us. So in any case, that's the week. Let's do our filtering here out of orange and yellow events, because quite frankly, I don't think they really have a lot of impact. So why clog our screen up with that? So Sunday, bank holiday for anybody trading JPY. I don't think that's going to mean much for the currency. Do note that the manufacturing PMI is coming out on Monday for anything euro related in terms of the pairs. In NZD land, nothing really going on there other than Governor Orr speaking. I can't imagine anything shocking is going to be coming out other than just, rotten numbers from pandemic related global GDP. But outside of that, FOMC minutes are typically released, as we'll see again this week. Maybe some events will be in there, but don't really see a lot of events that would be real risky. And quite frankly, between pandemic, COVID related treatments and vaccines coming out. But I think sort of I don't know, maybe this is a not a talked about risk in terms of a news related event. It's just that there is always cause for mania when you see spikes in COVID-related positive tests. And keep in mind, a lot of people won't tell you is that many of these huge spikes is coming from the fact there's a lot more tests being conducted globally. But just understand, for those under 70 years of age, this is coming directly from two of my infectious disease physician clients, who both think Fauci's a nutcase. There is a 99.98% survival rate, which is really good. Any case, so that's what's going on Forex Factory. Again, all developers are trading this week. Do understand it is a holiday week, so I don't really have a lot to say. So what I decided to do today is I'm going to have our first session. You guys can always put Q&A in and so forth. Do make sure that you're listening to, if your software is variable, you're listening to Dasan's call, which is a couple hours ago. And then if you're using Gearbox, Tyler's calls are typically on Friday. I know that there's been questions about switching software and so forth. I do know that there still is questions out there about some of the notifications that are coming out from Variable. So just understand that Dasan and the developer are going to be working to release another version of the software, I think by next week, if I'm not mistaken. And that will be they'll fix hopefully all the bugs and all the notifications. So more of an annoyance thing for those that are receiving that error. Always make sure if you have any problems with anything software related, is that you guys open up a ticket. It's important that Omar and the whole team, Bill Wynn, get a database or a wide data set, if you will, of problems if they are showing up. Helps them build out better fixes for these issues. So what we're going to talk about now is my FX book, okay? And the question I always get from people are how do I do this? And honestly, and let me just open up one other window here. All right, so I'm going to take this YouTube link. I'm going to drop this in the chat window. Hopefully this shows up okay. Oh, there we go. This guy's probably done one of the better presentations. This guy's actually a pretty good trader as well. His name's Justin. I know of him, that I've come across as far as how to set up my FX book. So my role as the risk manager is to always present stuff to make sure you guys can do proper analysis, communicate to your upline and downline about these types of things if they don't get a chance to be on this call or watch the recording. But at the very, very least, everybody should have an FX book hooked up to their account. I know that when you're looking at the track record verification, let me make sure we've got this screen shared here. There we go. It's difficult in some cases to hook it up so where you've got two check marks, track record verification, but there's two ways to hook this up. One is to embed this in the code. And then the other is to just go through and get what's called an investor password, an MT4. I'm not going to get into this with you guys. I'll post this again, which I think I've done a couple of months ago on my Telegram channel, so everybody can see how to hook this up. But, the core base of analysis from a risk perspective is rooted in metrics, right? It's rooted in understanding what's going on in the MyFX book. So this is the Einstein very conservative account we run that's denominated in euros. And the account's done pretty well. Doesn't take a lot of trades. It basically has really conservative and picky settings on it, kind of like a Gearbox Super Sniper type settings. But it's trading basically 0.01 lot size per 10K, which is really conservative. But the key thing about MyFX is you want to make sure you've got the two check marks at the top. Okay. The video from Justin goes into that, but also that you're able to analyze what's going on, taking a look at drawdowns, right? Taking a look at, profits. You can click on these, you can export this stuff, you can download the data, right? Taking a look, and we've drawn about 10,100 out of this account in profits. So there's only roughly 20K euro denomination in this account right now. But the next thing I look at is long versus shorts, win factor rates. Anything above like 53 or 54% is really high. These are actually good win rates, right? You always want to look at the drawdown. Okay. Now this is Einstein trading, real conservative settings again at Luke Roar. But open trades, you can see we're not, nothing really going on to a large degree. Notice the software is not setting the world on fire. But I could tell you guys, if this was your 401k account or just like a regular stock account that you were trading, these would be fantastic numbers long term on a larger portfolio. So just keep that in mind. So I always take a look at, what's going on as far as changes, history. You can always go into history and look at all trades, and you can sort the list by net profit. Okay, so I always start off with some of the worst profits. Okay, notice we haven't really taken that many. I mean, we've got what, 20, maybe 20 trades. Is that right? Yeah, some maybe a little bit less than 20 trades where we've gotten basically stopped out at 250 pips. Notice most of these trades are surrounding in June and July. But the cool thing about that is, we've upped the stops on this, and now many of these trades probably would have worked out had we cast a little bit of a wider net on this. And then opposite, you can look at, again, this is risk analysis stuff. You can look at profits from a perspective on, just top wins. So you can sort the list by top wins if you want. Let's see. So open trades, trade history. I don't know what happened to our trade history. Looks like it got a refresh. So we're getting an error. Well, you guys kind of get the idea here. We got an error going, but you guys kind of got an idea of what's going on. Let's take a look at the VPS. This is the other question I got. So we shot a video on Forex brokers, and it's going to be produced and uploaded, part of the onboarding. It's actually just a quick chat about Forex brokers. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that, but last week I really dove pretty deep into the difference between an A and a B side broker. So if you guys haven't heard that chat, watch last week's Saturday's video would be helpful. Also looking at the account on the MT4 platform, which is what we're looking at here. If you right click on one of the currencies, you open up the specification window. This is where you can see on the stops level right here. See how it's a 0? This is where you can see whether or not you're being gamed against by your Forex broker. Okay. Anything in this area that is showing up like a 5 or a 10, or I saw a 40 on a customer's account the other day, that just means that there's something behind the scenes of whatever broker you're dealing with. It's gaming against you. So you'd want to ask them for verification, send them a screenshot of this, put on a ticket, whatever you need to do to get in contact with some of the higher ups of the brokers firm and get them to explain to you why these numbers are higher. If you don't like their explanation, switch to a different broker. But that's essentially how to determine if there's any games going on in there. And I know some of the newer developments of some of the software we're coming out with, some of our newer pieces of software that are being onboarded. It's going to have a hunting algo inside the software that's going to alert you if anything bad's going on, which I think would just be a super thing to have as far as it's almost like a security guard in there hunting around, for stuff going on in terms of systems gaming against the software. So love it. There is a link in the chat window for the YouTube video. I'll post it again. I don't know why you guys aren't seeing it. It's in there. See it? To all, yeah. That's the problem. I'm sending this link to all the wrong people. Here, let's try this now. All right, there you go. To everybody. An update is coming out this weekend that should permanently, I just got this note from some higher ups. I'm going to read this to you guys. An update is coming out this weekend that should permanently fix the update issue for Variable. So Dasan just announced that during his call, and I know he's got some notification windows that keep popping up. That hopefully they have all that stuff fixed in the next week. As I told everybody, and everybody on our team, which they're probably getting sick of hearing about, is, these updates have gotten most of the problems ironed out pretty quick. But I would expect, typically with software release versions, especially in trading systems, it'd take essentially a few weeks to get some of the major issues, if any, show up and bugs fixed. We're still finding bugs, by the way, in NinjaTrader 8, which is a future trading platform, and these knuckleheads in NinjaTrader can't even get those fixed. So it's an ongoing thing when it comes to trading software. You're constantly doing updates to it. So this is the video. I would watch it. If you got to watch it 10 times to figure out what it takes to get hooked up, I would do it. What else do I want to say in this area? It's pretty much all I want to say for the calendar, the VPS, my FX book. Let me just peel through. So everybody, in my opinion, whether you're using the software or not, should be subscribed to my Telegram channel, Gearbox, and Variable. Okay. So if you're not subscribed to all three of those Telegram channels, I would do so. The notes that I release that are posted in the back office each week now include Dasan and Tyler's comments for the coming week. In addition to, on my Telegram channel, I also forward what their comments are, which we usually get before Sunday morning. Really, the goal is to have my notes updated, have recordings of all three calls and or their notes updated in all the systems and Telegram channels by Sunday morning. So we haven't always been able to achieve that, but essentially that is the goal among the team, as they're all quite aware. So let's go into some questions here. Okay, so first question was, are you watching, do you see the MT4 screen, guys, which I clicked on here, which is just some alternative currencies we're trading here in Einstein. So you right click on this and you open up specification. See this? No, there's not a separate Einstein channel. Yeah, we all wish there was, but Bill and Riley have, I guess, better things to do. Can you take a hint of disdain in my voice tone with that? But in any case, stops level says 0. There's something in there beyond that, 5, 10. I've seen a 40 in this category before. On a bunch of these, there's something going on. You needed to contact your broker. Make sure these guys, knuckleheads, aren't gaming against you. If they are, and they can't give you a straight answer, go to another broker. And just remember this, I know there's a lot of new subscribers. I know that these calls, which is my fault, have a tendency to go into very, very deep dives in some cases on a lot of stuff. That's why I'm actually going to just go and glaze through. Actually, let me log on to that while I'm at it. Let me go and let's log into the charts. But one thing that Susan, who is our head of onboarding videos and education, she brought up some great ideas this week. I think that we should have it shot in the next week, and it is going to be a video that will be part of the onboarding series, maybe more of a Q&A format between myself and somebody else that's going to literally go through the core of everything. What's trading, right? What's a brokerage firm? What's Forex? I mean, real simple, probably about a 3 to 5 minute discussion just going through all of that. So, because we do know and we are aware that there are a lot of subscribers out there that just really know nothing about Forex, and that's okay. So these videos will do a fantastic job of going through some of the just real basic stuff, like the difference between a stock, a bond, a currency pair, and a commodities contract, right? So the different types of instruments out there that can be used for investment outside of real estate, right? Or your business in terms of what to be diversified across. Really eventually with a large enough portfolio, you want to have exposure to all that stuff, including real estate. Just provides a much more diversified overall portfolio. Some asset classes in there are going to do great. Some are going to be manually traded. Some are going to do the work for you, like some of our software. Some of them you still have to approve the trades if you're in the US, but that's okay. You still get the ability to have profit generated with, let's just say, significantly less time that would involve building out manual trading, right? So just keep that in mind. Let me just log in here. All right, so the program I'm going to show you next, we can answer some more questions. There's a charting software program I use called TradingView. It's gained a lot of popularity because of the fact that it's flexible and it provides, in some cases, Bloomberg level analysis for about 20 bucks a month. It's great. So I use it to analyze currencies only from the standpoint of just looking at the very big picture, the macro of what's going on. And you can see this is the S&P 500. These are the 500 largest capitalized stocks in the United States, the big companies. This is what's going on with the S&P here. I'm not going to talk too much about that, but I did want to focus on the dollar. Okay. Now, this is a daily chart of the dollar, which I think is really kind of driving, even though it's been nice and dead and quiet. I think it's driving the main paired majors of the currency markets around, because notice it's starting to settle out from big moves. And it's almost like a coiling or a cooling out period is what I call this. So we've got a couple of dojis, which are these little teeny looking candles with double wicks that show more of like an indecision type of day. But we are coming into a holiday week, so I guess we can't expect too much in this area. But it does look like, from my perspective, as I've been walking about for about 3 months now, if you look at a monthly or weekly chart on this, which just takes a much bigger picture look, it's look like we're headed. It's easier to see in the monthly. Looks like we're headed somewhere down into this area. This is the whole 86 to 84. So for those new to Forex, a big drop like this in the dollar is really going to rock it up. Everything else that's attached to it. So if we move from the dollar discussion here, let's go back and take a look at the cable here. Notice we're hovering around a resistance point. It's obviously waiting probably for the dollar to break, unless some Brexit news comes out. I haven't really heard a lot of whiffs or any kind of rumors about Brexit. That's always when it gets most quiet, and then somebody in the UK opens up a comment from a central banker standpoint, currency goes crazy, right? So I don't really see, just sort of holding this level. Euro USD, which comprises most of the volume of the majors, again, holding out. Same type of dojis, holiday weakness stuff. Or I should say holiday week based lower volume, as you can see here at the bottom. I don't really see a lot going on there. Let's take a look at the USD JPY. Still inside this channel. It's arguably trending down. Let me see if I can expand this out. So these are just these lime green colors here. I've just an arbitrary color I picked for a downtrend channel. Same thing. It's been holding pretty decent in this channel. I don't really know where this currency is going, just like this one here. I really don't have the best of feel for this, but I think it's worth taking a look at. Every time we get back down around this area here, the whole 2176-ish area, it's rallied pretty significantly, but it's stopping, right? So it's acting well from the standpoint of support and resistance. GBP NZD, again, just holding term. This is a daily chart. For the question I just got, so each one of these candles represents a single day in the technical analysis of this. So that's pretty much all I wanted to cover. Yeah, I haven't had a chance to go through Dasan's call. Um, but I will. Questions on anything? I'll tell you, the great thing about being in this role, you guys, is that unlike the springtime, when this pandemic and bailout packages globally were sending currencies all over the place, from the risk manager standpoint, not getting a lot of emails from you guys tells me things are going well. So it's good to see. But this is a huge, you've got to not get lazy on this. I found a couple of our team members that, kind of didn't know what was going on the last 2 weeks because they weren't listening to these calls. And I said, look, at the very least, you don't necessarily have to see my screens to listen to the recorded call. You can do it while you're driving around in the car, just don't watch the video while you're driving, obviously, but you can listen to it in the background. But I always find it interesting that when these people start whining, I don't have the time, and then we really break down their day. It was just mostly just caught up with busy work. There's always an hour. I think in even the busiest person's day on this planet, I'll bet I could find 10 or 15 minutes to catch up on this stuff. So please don't let that in your own brain use as an excuse for not doing that, because if in fact that becomes a habit, you're putting a lot less risk in place. Right, goes against all of our mantra here as the risk management team, right? So just keep up the diligence. Make sure you're getting the word spread around to your different group about all the changes going on. And other than that, AUD, NZD. Let's take a look at it. I do not trade this. But here is a chart. Okay, so this is the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, AUD, NZD. It's basically almost like a cross-continental battle down there in the South Pacific, right? So we've broken below a big support level. This is the daily chart, okay? This area here, though, from the perspective of someone that's trading this is the big support line right here. See it? Because it's an area that we broke from up into this. This is not the best of pattern, but we broke up into this area. Obviously, the orange line has become support. We broke below the 200-day, came back up against it, which is always a good place to short if you've put significant volume breaking under a level, and then the shorts card is coming back at this again from the standpoint of strength in the NZD. So, but this is the area of support right here. If this breaks, you're probably going to see this thing sail a few thousand pips lower. Does that answer your question? You're welcome. All right, guys. And nothing else, you can always send me an email. If you send me an email, everybody's getting sick of hearing me say, always make sure there's an FX book included. Why? Because then I can see what's going on, right? We don't care about your account balances. We don't care of any of that stuff. That's not important to us. All it matters is that you're not taking lots of risk and money you cannot afford to lose. There's my email, svettel@auvoriaprime.com. Send me an email, my FX books. I think I'll probably take a poll next week of who does not have their MyFX books hooked up to their account. And then we will tar and feather you in the public forum. Nah, but if any questions, just send me an email. And I wish everybody a great week and a fantastic trading week. For all of those in the US, happy Thanksgiving Day. Save yourself some money on Black Friday. Don't fall for the crap. And let your hearts not be troubled, folks. Happy Thanksgiving. Vettel, off the mic.